Hello? Okay. Hi, guys. Should I wait for the timer here? Okay. Hi, I'm Ted, founder of Discoverly. Prior to starting Discoverly, I worked at Salesforce. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with Salesforce. I was there for about 5 years. For the first 2.5 years, I was on the M&A team, and then I moved over to product to work on Chatter. If you're not familiar with Chatter, it's sort of like a Yammer comp, but integrated within Salesforce. And Salesforce's entire business is predicated on one single idea, is that relationships are important. Relationships is what business runs on, as this sort of ethereal fuel that's hard to see and even harder to capture. But with the tools that we use today, like social networks and devices, we're able to capture signals that signal not just where relationships are, but also their strength. And what Discoverly is trying to do is help you visualize those relationships and document their strengths. So what you might think is, Ted, LinkedIn does that. And so let's go through a couple cases of what an entrepreneur like myself or some people in this room might use LinkedIn for. So consider a case where people from Digify are looking for a way to tell the world about the awesome product they've built. There's a tech source called Pando. Is everybody familiar with Pando, Pando Daily? Raise your hand. Okay, great. So Sarah Lacey is the founding editor of Pando. And so if you want to get in touch with her, what you probably would do today is you go to LinkedIn and you look at her profile. She's a second-degree connection of mine, so I can scroll down and I can see our mutual LinkedIn connections, of which we have 4. Okay, great. You know, some of the concerns, like, did these people meet at a conference 4 years ago? I think you've probably all been in a situation where you ask for an introduction and the person says, I don't really know that person. And so that's sort of that missing part of where the actual real relationships lie. Another consideration is, say you're, Digify is a way for your document management. Maybe they're trying to get in touch with Dropbox to do a better partnership. So you go to, I don't need to see my connections there, but say you're trying to get in touch with Drew. Again, the same case, a second-degree connection. I can scroll down, and we have, looks like 7 mutual LinkedIn connections. But again, trying to find out where the best connection is. And then the third use case we'll think about here is a sort of a recruiting one. Services like Facebook can sort of pool great talent. But if you're startups like myself, you need a sort of warm intro to find. Doug is in the back, who's actually came in through his friend who sits next to him. The way we find talent is through our connections. That's how we have a brand, branded through the relationship. And so Benjamin's a guy here as a second-degree connection, and I would use LinkedIn to connect with him. And so what I'll say is that, what if I told you that LinkedIn is missing 2/3 of your connections, most of which are personal? They reside in tools like your phone or in Facebook. So when you're using LinkedIn, you're missing out on those key connections. And what Discoverly is a way for you to get visibility of those connections in context. So the first tool we've launched is a browser plugin, which allows you to connect to your tools. So I'll download the plugin here live. You connect to the tools like Facebook and LinkedIn, and you're able to take that data with you as you travel the web. We'll see how this works live demo. Let's see, let me try to refresh here. Wah, wah. It's okay. We can go to the production version. I should be good to go anyways. Let's see if this works. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. We're good to go. So what you normally would do is I'm operating in a place between the development environment and the production environment. What you normally do is that you connect to your Facebook and you connect to your LinkedIn and you can travel the web with it. So here we go back to Sarah Lacey's profile and we can refresh and say, okay, the question still remains the same, is how can I get an introduction to Sarah Lacey? And here, within the context of LinkedIn, I can hover and see our mutual Facebook friends. And here I'm able to discover that my friend Jeff knows Sarah. And that's actually in real life how I got introduced to Sarah. I got introduced through Jeff. 3 days later, she covered us. And now I'm a contributing author on Pando. These relationships were leveraged through my personal connections, not professional ones. Same can be done with True here. If I refresh this page, now with the plugin, I can see that we had 7 mutual LinkedIn connections. We have 29 mutual Facebook friends. And so when you're operating that, you're missing these opportunities. And I can do with this last one gentleman, like Benjamin before, we had, looks like 5 mutual LinkedIn connections. When I refresh on Benjamin here, I'm able to see our mutual Facebook friends. But this is where we actually have a new feature that we're working on, which we're testing, is I can actually not see that we have 6 mutual Facebook friends, but I can start to see who actually knows him best. And that's where those signals are. This is based on social interactions, number of mutual connections in common, likes and comments on each other's posts, even photos tagged in common. So these are all sort of the signals that we can capture about who people are and how they're connected, sort of looking beyond just one source. We're sort of social network agnostic. We're just pulling in all these social data signals. And this is a two-way street. So the same can be true as I was invited to a dinner party. I was on Facebook, and I went to one of the profiles of the guests that I didn't know. I'm sorry, it looks like I'm a little over, sorry. But I can hover, and in context, I went to Max's profile. I was like, who's Max? It doesn't say anything on Facebook. I can hover and see his LinkedIn work information and find out that he's the lead on Google Glass. So we're giving context both ways. We're continuing to roll out more integrations where you'll be able to go to a Facebook profile and see your friends' Instagram photos in context, or go to their LinkedIn profile and see their tweets. The idea is that it's your social data, take it with you. So if you have any action item today, I'd love you to check out Discoverly and take your social data with you. Thank you.
Good stuff. Thank you, Ted. Right on. I've got it installed. Raise your hands for a question. Did you talk about your business plan?
Yeah, so I'm happy to do that. So we actually also, so the tool lets you pull together your connections. We also have, this is in private beta, but we also have a team tool, which allows coworkers to pull their connections anonymously. So if we're all coworkers and I want to get in touch with one of your friends, I would see that a coworker of mine knows Jim, but I wouldn't know which coworker. So it's a way to sort of accelerate that serendipity and accelerate, oftentimes used for referral hiring and referral sales. Any other questions for us? Are you all going to go get the plug-in? I hope.
I have a question.
Oh, you got someone in the back. I'm sure you're wonderful. Great voice.
I'll just hide down here. So what if you want to hide? Actually, you don't want your connections.
I can't.
Oh, I'm back here.
It's hard to me. So you're saying that from the other side, you don't want your connections being seen, right?
Right. Like, what if you don't want to be bothered with introducing
Yeah.
people?
So we're actually not showing the user anything they don't already have access to. We're just making it discoverable in context. Does that make sense? I can already go to your Facebook profile and see if we have mutual Facebook friends. So we're not actually giving any access to information or any privacy violations. We're just making the information already available more discoverable.
Okay.
So that would be, you'd have to unfriend people on Facebook.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You never answered the question, how do you make money?
Oh, so the idea on the Teams tool is maybe the first 15 employees that join your company's network is free. And maybe between 15 and 30 employees within a network, you start to pay X dollars a month subscription service with buckets. So you don't want to make a weird calculation where you make a judgment call with that employee's connections are worth $2 per user per month. That's kind of weird. But if you clear of like 15 users in a company, you start to pay X. Clear 50, you start to pay Y. Sort of a scalable solution like that.
Or LinkedIn just buys you?
Yeah, LinkedIn could be a potential acquirer. One of the things that we think is important is, if you think about Kayak can't be bought by American Airlines because then United doesn't play. And so as a social network agnostic tool, too close to one puts you at risk with the others.
This is great. I love the way it's doing it inside your social networks. Is this something that, was this something that Zobni was trying to do and others have tried to do within email?
Yeah, so actually, I mentioned before that I used to be on the Salesforce acquisitions team, and we looked at a lot of these places in the space, and a lot of them were using with the best social data available at the time, which was email. But the APIs of these social networks gives you a lot more data and a lot less false positives. And so it's similar to what they're doing, which is delivering in context. We're just trying to take it with you as you travel the web.
Yeah,
so
the nice part is that you don't have to have a download.
Yeah, it's not like an 8-minute download where you get to see your data.
Yeah, you limit your, but on the other hand, you have to have a mail client.
Yeah, it's sort of realizing some of those dreams. There's lots of companies that have tried this in the past, but they were reliant purely on email. Yeah, in the front. Yeah, so we're looking at email in the future. It's another place where people document their relationships. We've consumed most of the social networks. We're looking at tools like Instagram, Twitter. So if I go to your LinkedIn, I should be able to see your tweets if they're publicly available to me. And so we're looking at those places that have more profile content. Email is purely a relationship space. And Rapportive is also providing some tools there already. And so we're trying to go where we're most valuable. But that's definitely something we're looking at in the future. Phone numbers. Yeah, I mean, I think the question we always get is, what about mobile? And one of the things that we're trying to do with the plugin is you don't have to change your behaviors at all. You just use Facebook and LinkedIn as you do normally. We'd love to be able to modify Facebook and LinkedIn's mobile apps to be able to insert ourselves when it's useful, but iOS doesn't allow for that at least. And so our role on mobile is sort of TBD. We're trying to do it in a way that doesn't ask you to change any of your behaviors, but deliver that value in context. Does that answer your question? Text messages, signals. Yeah, so like the very fact that I have your phone number is a signal of social proximity, right? These are all measurements of social proximity. So we'll certainly consider that. Android also lets it have some APIs for text message volumes, which is another signal. iOS doesn't allow that. But again, we don't care about the individual like content of anything, sort of like NSA. We just consider about the strength of relationships. Well, thanks for all your questions, guys. Hope you guys check it out.
Right on. Discoverly.